It's a spur-of-the-moment decision. Chief Willie Moon decides to head down the river. He's a hereditary chief and elected chief councillor for the Dzawada'enux First Nation. Here in Kingcome on BC's Central Coast, jumping in a boat is akin to jumping in a car to go to the grocery store. And that's kind of what's happening. Chief Moon is taking us to what was, and in a way still is, their grocery store. He has a story to tell.
We're dealing with Nature Trust. They purchased a lot of this land. The land was stolen from us. Ernest Halliday was an Indian agent up here and started just giving away land and really never talked to our community about it.
Okay, there's a ton to unpack in that statement. Trust me, we'll get there. But the focus of this morning's discussion is Nature Trust.
The Nature Trust of BC is a leading land conservation organization. We focus on areas that are of ecological significance and we approach the business in a very scientific manner.
Established in 1971, Nature Trust of BC is a nonprofit conservation organization. Across the province, the group has acquired over 500 areas protecting 180,000 acres of land and water.
That's what we're fighting for now, is to get that land back. But dealing with Nature's Trust, it's a battle and a half by itself. You know, we've been at this. Well, I started probably in around mid-'80s.
The First Nation wanted to build an access road from the village to the mouth of the river. At the moment, there is no road on the Kingcome side of the river. Problem is, it would cut through prime grizzly bear habitat under the protection of the conservation group, Nature Trust.
After I got in, then I took over trying to get this road built, but where we keep running into Nature's Trust in there, you know, at one point they were more concerned about the lives of the bears than our community members. You know, and that's really sad that's how they think.
This is my mother's homeland. It holds a special place in my heart. I heard about this dispute while home on holidays. Digging into it, I found the backstory fascinating and tragic. It goes back to the late 1800s, long before Nature Trust involvement. Land theft, grave desecrations, a logged-out valley, climate change creating threats of greater and greater floods, tragic drowning accidents. At different times, various plots of land surrounding Kingcome have been in the hands of farmers, loggers, and most recently, conservationists. That's a lot to get into, but at present, the community's sites are set on the land controlled by Nature Trust.
We're just dancing around the table going nowhere. I don't want to be doing this for another 20 years with you guys, you know. I hope like how my grandchildren aren't going to be talking about the same issues after I'm gone.
When I was in the community, I was in the room when talks with provincial officials started in an effort to resolve the Nature Trust issue.
This is reconciliation in action. The community has an access road to God now.
After 40 years, Chief Moon was showing little patience.
We feel like there's really not much the province is doing on our behalf, other than just giving us a BS. Thank you.
It's never going to change, like the whole history on that land, how it was taken bit by bit.
And there's frustration bordering on anger.
I want to shame the shit out of them. I want them to feel really, really embarrassed and shamed by the end of what we do to them. That's how I feel.
Holy. The sense I got is the people in Kingcome perceive the conservation group puts the well-being of grizzly bears over their safety, stemming from comments made during failed negotiations over 25 years ago. In October of 1999, the two sides meet face-to-face for the first time. Ron Erickson and Dick Richards represent the Nature's Trust. Chief Willie Moon expressed the First Nations' wish to have safe, uninterrupted access to the village. Ron Erickson stated, "This road, if built, will have substantial effect on mortality risk for the bears." Dick Richards proposed, "The best solution from our point of view is the band locates someplace else." Community member Midori Nicholson replied to that suggestion, "I can safely say that will never happen." When the dispute hit the papers, Erickson was quoted, "They were quite upset when we suggested that." And in another article, "We're not the bad guys. We're trying to preserve habitat. The band hasn't exactly been pleasant to us." Just months before these meetings, two community members drowned in a tragic accident on the Kingcome River. Two brothers, Ernie and Frank Willie. Frank Willie was Lindsay Willie's father.
He passed away when I was 15, and I remember at the time I said I'd never come back here just because it was too painful.
I told the story to my kid brother Frank, and lo and behold, he comes up with the double-headed sea serpent.
Both brothers were beloved members and leaders in the community. The Nature Trust comments were taken as insults, still felt today. In the 80s, when Frank Willie was chief counselor, with assistance from his brother, the push to build the road began. River safety was a concern back then. Concerns that have grown over the years. In 2010, the village was evacuated due to a catastrophic flood.
It was very scary. I believe this is the most dangerous one that we've seen.
I was just extremely sad that I had to leave the village like that. Just the feeling of leaving home and not knowing if we're going to have a home to come back to.
And there's a lot of loss, too much loss too.
I think a lot of our people are worried now because of what happened in 2010.
Back at the village, the chief takes us to the end of the road. If they came back and said, "Hey, let's make a deal, we'll give you access for the road, but give up the rest," would that be enough for you?
No, I don't. Our people are saying, we can't give away any more land than what they've already stolen from us. We need to get back what rightfully belongs to our people. So, yeah. So I wouldn't trade land just for the road. We'd take all the land back.
So here's where things get a little more complicated. The community wants all the land returned, land they claim was illegally obtained over a century ago. It's my understanding that there's proof out there that it was illegally obtained. Am I misreading something, or is that the case?
No, you're right. That there are documents, and we had a couple of our members who went to the archives and pulled all that information out of there.
The First Nation has a title case in the works. Currently, any land owned by a third party is off the table. The logging company Interfor has lots adjacent to Nature Trust. Those lots are up for sale, creating a philosophical debate within the community.
My question is, what is the status of the land once you buy it? Because I hear provincial taxation and stuff like that.
In one sense, I agree with not buying the land back, but my thinking right now is if we don't purchase that land, Nature Trust will. And, the battles we've had with Nature's Trust over the years, I wouldn't want to see them grasping onto any more of our land.
And just for context, the land that we're talking about here is not Nature's Trust, but it's right adjacent.
Yeah, the logging company owned that land.
There's never gonna be a government that comes to the table with a good heart or like a good intention. It's just always gonna be for their benefit, no matter what. So I'm like, okay, let's just buy it back with their money. Like, that's how I feel. I just feel like, just buy it. It's like paying a ransom.
That's an interesting way to put it, right? Ransom.
It's like a ransom of a loved one. Like, that's how I feel. It's like, well, at least we get them back alive. At least we can still take care of them in the future. It's just money. It's priceless getting your land back. I know it's completely wrong, completely unjust. What is our goal? It's to get our land back. That will get our land back. Let's just do it.
From a bird's eye view, this land looks wild and almost untouched. In reality, the land is carved up into lots, effectively boxing in the tiny reserve.
You don't want to come?
Oh, I'm gonna look after your cooking.
Okay, bye.
Have fun, babe.
I will. Bye. He's got way more information than I do.
Is operations manager for the band. She takes us across the river to show us one of those lots now up for sale. Logging company Interfor has ceased operations in the valley and has offered it to the First Nation.
So this is one of the plots. This gives us access. We get our fuel down at the bottom of the water there. And this is our main passage to get into our community. So it's really critical for us, and it's also a safety passage for us because our river floods and it ices during the winter. So it's critical for us to own this piece of land and really take back this entire property. I don't know, it just doesn't make sense to me why we are occupying all of this, but we don't own it.
So how did the Dzawada'enux end up in this position? It's time for a short history lesson. In the late 1700s through the 1800s on the coast of British Columbia, the rate of change in Indigenous lives was staggering. tragic and must have felt like an alien invasion for Spanish and British colonists planting flags, at times met with violent resistance. 2 catastrophic smallpox epidemics killed an estimated 2/3 of the indigenous populations up and down the coast. In Kingcome, it's remembered as the Great Deaths. In 1858, Vancouver Island became a British colony. To encourage settlement, it created the policy of preemption. Any non-native individual could stake up to 160 acres of land and be granted title for a small fee. It's the root of the issue for Chief Willie Moon, because this was done without the consent of his people.
That was just taken without even talking to our community. Like that whole flat down there, it was designated for families, you know, to pick wild rice and all of that stuff.
In 1867, the Dominion of Canada was established. At first, BC colonists rejected overtures to join. When it does, the act of treaty making is ignored. This despite Article 13 of the Terms of Union, the agreement by which BC joined Canada. It required BC to protect Indian settlement lands. But preemption would continue. In the 1890s, brothers William and Ernest Halliday established a homestead across the river from Kingcome village. William Halliday would become the region's Indian agent. He arrested people for potlatching, confiscating regalia and art, calling the ceremonies wasteful and destructive. In 1914, the task to deal with outstanding Aboriginal title in BC was given to these guys. The McKenna-McBride Royal Commission traveled throughout BC, reviewing the reserves. Seen now as a failure. However, the commission testimony recorded provides insight into the indignities suffered. Chief Sisajoulis from Kingcome spoke of a settler named Alan McKay who took for himself the land where our forefathers always got their food. He said the women were surprised when he chased them away, confiscating their tools when they came to harvest roots and crab apples. The land was then fenced off. Worse yet, he testified loggers cut trees down, destroying an old burial ground. He explained because of the rising river, the dead were interned high in tree branches. When the trees were cut down, the bodies were left to float in the river. After this shocking testimony, the commissioners instructed the chief to get back to business. The chief requested a reserve extension, 200 acres per adult male. It was rejected, not entertained, as not reasonably required.
It is sick that we have to purchase something that we are currently occupying. It is. However, if we have to take that initial step to reclaim something, I honestly believe in my heart everything will fall into place after that.
Thomas Moon is a true outdoor adventurer. He spent his life exploring this valley. He's noted erosion has made the river more hazardous to travel. He blames the logging company. A decision to replant the wrong types of trees.
I would hope that there's something that we can get at them for, because they planted these lots. They should be the ones to come in here and get these trees out of here. Try to correct the river system from doing what it's doing, because all these cottonwood areas that they're getting ripped out, they're just going to continue to do that because there's no strong rooting system through there.
With debris buildup and changes in the river direction, it becomes a guessing game on how to travel every time it floods.
I figured it would start chewing in there and go straight down. But then again, it may start chewing out that and just... And you see down in the corner there, there's a bit of a open gapping. That's a sluway in there. And so it's probably, it may eat that and just start jetting through there.
So what does the Nature Trust have to say? I asked the Nature Trust for an interview. A spokesperson declined, responding that to ensure accuracy, they'd provide a statement. The Nature Trust in BC is committed to working with the Dzawada'enux First Nation to lay the foundation for a new relationship. When asked if the organization has considered giving the land back, we got this reply via email. Under federal and provincial law, NTBC holds these properties in trust and is legally required to conserve them in perpetuity.
I really don't have any confidence in the government, moving forward with this. I think they're just pushing us to that point where we do need to, take some action.
Taking a cue from another tribe's recent court victory, the Dzawada'enux have filed their own lawsuit. The Cowichan decision that came down in August stated government-issued title was invalid if it infringes on Aboriginal title. The DFN is asking the court declare lands in the Kingcome estuary as Indian settlement lands, which should have been set aside. The Nature Trust declined to comment on this development.
I just want to show you this.
To emphasize how long this has been going on, I'm shown a binder containing letters from kids appealing to Nature Trust.
It's a letter from Darren Lagus, a child in the school. He's now a counselor.
This is not your land. Our community needs it for our elders. So please, make love, not war.
The authors of those letters are now grown, some with kids the age they were when they wrote them.
Our lives are important, as are the Grizzly Bears' habitat. If we count the people that died in the river and you lived up here, you would want a road. Sincerely, Mary Jo Willie.
Oh well. TTFN. Sincerely, Darren Lagus.